All right. Hi, guys. My name is Courtney Nordyke, and I serve as our advancement director at St. Mark Lutheran School in Houston, Texas. We serve infants 6 weeks to 8th grade. Our school campus is about 540 students. We have grown over the last 10 years to do double grades throughout. And we are also connected to a church. And so our school and church relationship is really important to us. And we streamline and do things together, which then creates just the community and the engagement from both our church and our school.
And Marianne, do you want to introduce yourself too?
Marianne Bethel. My daughter is a second grader at St. Mark Lutheran. We have been at the school since she was kindergarten. So this is our third year going into fourth year and hoping she goes all the way through 8th grade. And I've been volunteering and helping out with the school in some form or another. This is my second year with the Gala, serving the community, helping out a school in any way, shape, or form. I love doing it. I love helping my child and everybody else's children.
That's awesome, Marianne. And, from serving the K-12 sector for a while, it's amazing people like, of course, Courtney on the fundraising side, but also the parents, the superstar parents. And the one thing that I want to highlight too and kind of brag about you is you're a product designer and UX UI design. So really interested to hear your insights on what you thought about Trellis from that hat as well. So you kind of have this awesome little trifecta of parent, volunteer, and also the product manager side. So that's awesome. Thank you both for introducing yourselves. And I'm Justin, and as you know, we just try and find out what our customers love about Trellis so when you're making a choice. And with that being said, I would love to get started with Courtney. Tell us about your event, your big event, and how you were making it all happen before you used Trellis.
Yeah, so we have 3 big fundraising events at our school, and as we started doing that, we were using so many different platforms. And so my main goal was to streamline some platforms, which is why we found Trellis. But before that, again, we were in different platforms. We were collecting money in different ways online through different platforms, through different like Square and Venmo and all of those kind of things. And so our Gala is our biggest fundraiser of the year. And it's the tickets, it's the sponsorships, it's the tables, it's the different silent auctions, live auctions. And so it has all of that in one. And so I would say 4 years ago, we used GiveSmart, which did its job. It worked really well, but it wasn't very user-friendly. Again, it did its job. And then last year, we moved to Qtego because we felt like we needed someone at our event to help us. And while that did its job, it was an old system. It was really hard to use, not user-friendly. So we've come from 2 older systems that have been around and it just works, right? I would call it check the box. It worked great. Our event was great. But when you hear from the parents, it's not ideal. Right. So our whole organization is moving to Razor's Edge. And so as we move to that, I found it to be an opportunity to find a new platform. And so I asked Razor's Edge, what do you guys suggest? And they said Trellis. And so I talked to Justin. We had our first call. And from the very beginning, I could tell it was family, it was community. And that's what we strive to find and what we strive to do in our organization and through our events. So I knew this would probably be something that we would like to continue to pursue. And then when we moved into Trellis, it was completely different and an opportunity to have a user-friendly database and something that we could also keep. So GiveSmart, you download all of your stuff. You cannot get back into the platform. It was gone. We cannot go back. We cannot see what we did years before. And so that was really why we switched to the Qtego. And then we wanted a little bit more user-friendly platform.
Amazing. And Marianne, it sounds like you've been involved a couple of years. So curious what your experience and journey's been on that.
Yeah. So I jumped in actually last year for Gala and then jumping into the digital platform, learning Qtego. And I will say it was a learning curve. We did have support throughout, but even then, again, coming from a tech background and product design background, even that was like, just going through it was very hard to figure things out. But again, like Courtney said, it did its job. It wasn't the easiest or the most efficient way to do things. And, then as a guest, hearing from other parents, it wasn't the most user-friendly, both on the admin side and then like setting up side and from the guest and user perspective, from the donor perspective. But then when Courtney said we were moving to Trellis. She's like, here's a little one-sheeter. Here's the website. And immediately went to help, like look at support, looked at everything. And I'm like, okay, this looks like it's got potential. It already has this, everything, all the questions I had before readily available. I'm like, okay. And then as soon as I jumped in, we got online. I was like, you guys, I'm so excited for this.
And what was that light bulb moment? So excited. Like I knew you went to the help desk, saw all the help desk articles that are very thoughtful, but what was, when you got in there and first logged in,
it was
a light
just
bulb?
really intuitive. Like I knew exactly where to go to be able to, silent auction settings, live auction settings. Okay, here where our what we call buy now items are. Just again, going through that and then being able to see and edit live what the actual site would look like. Just a lot more intuitive than some of the past things that we've used in the past. So some of the other things were kind of older, kind of legacy stuff. This just is a little bit more modern. And again, just like user friendly. Like I feel like I could have my 8-year-old take a look at it and I think she could figure out, if I told her step by step what she needed to do, Aubrey could probably figure it out.
I love that. And if an 8-year-old could figure it out, we've nailed it. And also maybe your donors that are maybe a little bit older. Maybe there were some grandparents in the crowd. I'm curious, Courtney, you mentioned a couple times that you said, hey, our past ones worked, but then we got feedback after that it was kind of confusing or it wasn't as easy as we hoped. What did your parents and maybe grandparents like about Trellis?
We survey our parents every year. So the feedback, and one of the questions was the platform, because we, again, always get that feedback that the platform was harder to use. And I would say, Marianne, you could probably attest to this. It was flying colors. Like we love the switch. And the other thing you have to go back and forth on is when you change platforms year after year after year, and they're like, oh my gosh, another platform. And so to not have that feedback, what we talked to your team about is we have those 3 events, like I told you. Can we jump into Trellis piece by piece, to not wait till our gala to find the loopholes or to find, hey, that didn't work very well. So what we ended up doing was do 2 events in fall. We have our kind of our fall carnival type thing that we just sell tickets to. And so that was that first step. And so then a couple months later, we have our sporting clays to benefit our athletics. And so that's tickets and sponsorships. And so we were able to kind of step by step into it. And then from parents, we could quickly get that feedback. Hey, it was really hard to navigate the sponsorships way at the bottom. Put it at the top. Okay. And so it's on our end, but we were able to not wait to the very end, our biggest event in February, and wait to get that feedback. So we could get ahead of that, which we really appreciated, to be able to use for small events, tickets, those kind of things, and sponsorships. And then after the gala, what we would hear is it was really easy to use. It was actually enticing to go on it. Like the pictures, the colors, it wasn't just this random database, right? One of our favorite things, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, is the fact that our donors could bid anonymously. For us, it made it so much fun. And we kind of did the spin on it because you get a random name, and then we enjoyed it. And we used that throughout the kickoff season and then throughout the night. You can see behind Marianne, what I did for my team was, because we loved it so much, we put AI generated and created a photo of all of our avatars. And that just made it so much fun. So we got that from our donors. The fact that it's still open, like we are selling things right now, and our event was 2 months ago, that we can keep it open. We can turn it off, turn it back on whenever we want. That is a huge plus for us because we open things and we close things in different times. That has been a benefit, I would say, and easy, where we don't have to say, well, go here, buy this. It's still on the Gala website. Go buy that social, or go buy that individual ticket, or those kind of things. So that's been a huge plus from our families and our donors, and even our grandparents. I talked to some of our grandparents that were there, and the iPhone is not their generation. And so when you're walking around and you're on the iPhone at all times, it could be a little overwhelming for them. Very easy to use. And then, they had all of us to help them, but they were completely fine as well.
Amazing. Marianne, being a parent, also being probably someone that participated or maybe had family that did you hear anything from the users?
Not necessarily about the platform. They loved it. And I think, again, it was just user-friendly, easy to access. And the fact that, again, it was open and they knew exactly where they needed to go. And again, it was on our end. The feedback we got was like, there was a lot of things, but we were lucky and we're blessed to have a lot of people wanting to donate things to sell on our silent auction. So that was one feedback, but there was a lot more positive feedback about the platform and how user-friendly it was this year versus any of the other years that I've been. And, the first year we were here, I was just a guest, just a donor. And I was like, I don't even know how to use this. And I'm in like, what? And then so over time, seeing it and hearing it from other parents and even new parents and grandparents, like my mother-in-law, like she said, iPhone is not their thing. And even computers just in general are not their thing. The internet is not their thing. But if my mother-in-law can go in, or my mom can go in and be able to bid or set a max bid and be like, okay, I'm going to try to get that. And I can let her know, oh, you need to increase it because someone just beat you. She knew how to do it without me walking her through it.
That's huge. Yeah. When they get those texts and everything, that's awesome. Well, you've been talking so much about the silent auction and these fun avatars. I would love to hear more because it sounded like a big highlight for both of you.
It was just, again, when you're going miles a minute to make sure your experience for your guest is flawless, and we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. There are going to be little hiccups along the road, but to have something fun. And I think it was in a meeting a week before when we really what is this bid anonymously? And because Rebecca, our
account manager,
she was incredible. So that's the other thing I would say is you have someone walking beside you every step of the way. And that hasn't been always the case in some of the products that we've used. And so Rebecca was wonderful. And she said, hey, we're going to throw this out there, but there's a way you can bid anonymously. And we're like, okay. Months later, then we figured it out. And we're like, oh my gosh. So we started texting everyone, change it, bid anonymously. And then it was just this community of laughter throughout the night because you could hear who just outbid me? Who's the pink iguana? What? And so it was just something fun. And now we are a community of fun people that do life together. And so if it was a super serious business, maybe not what you want, but we loved it. We really, really enjoyed just the added and then the opportunity to laugh at the end of the night, just to laugh. So it was a great ad for us.
Amazing. Yeah. Marianne, can we see the photo? Is that something they're allowed to show closer? And what it is Trellis, you get assigned a random color and a random animal if you want to bid anonymously, or you can just say bid anonymously, but this is the more fun way.
We had a great time with it.
That's awesome.
It's just an added bonus. So
yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. You build technology and there's little moments of delight, and you never knew that would be one, but we love it. So that's awesome. Just, thinking about some big moments where people get nervous, check in, if there's a paddle raise, maybe check out, follow up, any of those kind of stand out for you that you wanted to talk to?
Sure. I think all the ones that you just hit were the ones that we had questions. We were scared going in the night of, just because we hadn't done it before. And so Rebecca and her team walked us through it. And we had our teachers doing check-in for us. And I was able to give a tutorial the day before and then the night of. And so the night of, they got to check in some of the guests that were already there. Easiest check-in process there ever would be. You search their last name and you hit check-in. And so really, really easy. The flow was easy. I'm going to knock on wood, but we really did not have any problems with check-in, with paddle raise. What we ended up doing, just so it wouldn't overwhelm us, we collected paddles and then we entered them the day when we got back to the office. And it's so easy to enter those amounts as donations. And so really, honestly, a flawless event with Trellis. Now, like Marianne said, there are things on our end that we can figure out how to enter it better just because we're learning. It was not Trellis. They have all the settings. They have all the ways to fix it. And the other thing that we love, and Marianne can talk to this, is if there was something that didn't work, we were in the help desk and we gave feedback, and some things have already started changing. We just got the email, hey, these are the things that are changing. And so what I see in Trellis is you are working alongside your people, your donors. I would call us donors. I would call us your clients, because you want it to get better and you want it to be flawless and streamlined. And so, of course, there are things that didn't work the way we had hoped. They worked, but hey, let's fix this. And you guys are all on board to help us fix it to make it a little easier. So
I think that's the testament to the platform and how you build it is we didn't need somebody on site, because how you have that help desk, how you give the instructions how to do it. And again, how intuitive it was to be able to again, Courtney showed our teachers how to do it the week before, and then like a quick, here's how we do it 5 minutes before we started. Again, from a product side, if you have way too many walkthroughs or way too much documentation on your help desk, then maybe you didn't build it quite right. But again, if you build it intuitively, you don't need so much handholding. But then as soon as you have a question, I would always reach out if I couldn't get to Rebecca, or I would reach out to support. Somebody responded pretty much that same day. It was great. And it was always like, okay, we'll take your feedback. That sounds like a great idea. We'll take it to product. I'm like, that's amazing.
We do our best on that for sure. And we do release out the product roadmaps in advance, and as you mentioned, so you can see what's coming. And so the transparency wins, right? And we're being forced to build a really great product because we want you to use it and not have to be handheld. So is there anything else that I didn't ask or that you wanted to say? Think of yourself in a different school, considering using Trellis from a parent point of view or a fundraiser within the fundraising team point of view. What would you tell them if they're considering to buy Trellis?
What I would tell you if you're considering to buy Trellis is do your first meeting. Sign up for your first meeting, your initial meeting, and you won't look back. The reason is because they care about their product so much that they want to change it if it's not functioning for their clients. Try it. You won't be sorry. They're great people. They want to do the best, and they're open to feedback. I think sometimes when you get product, that's your heart. That's what you've built, what you've created, and what your feedback. Well, feedback is feedback. You don't have to take it at all. You can just in one ear, out the other. But that's not who Trellis is. It is authentic. It's real. They want to be better. And so for us, that is our community. That is our culture. We take feedback and we value it, and we work together in our team to fix it. And that's exactly what you can tell Trellis does. And Justin, as the founder, he's the first call you have. He's the last call of your time with them. He's doing this because he cares a lot. So when you find the CEO and the founder to care this much, then you only know what that team looks like and how much they care.
No, and it shows on the end product.
Amazing. Well, that was very nice. You're making me blush. Thank you so much. And I appreciate it. And I'm excited for your next year's events. We've been seeing a lot of really good growth with our especially our K-12 schools that are really starting to use this and leverage this technology. So I'm excited to see what you do next. And thank you so much both for your time.
Of course. Bye, Justin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.